Case type: missing officer. Highway stop gone wrong. Location: Route 87, Industrial Loop exit. Status: open. Officer presumed abducted. Preface: this file is used in academy trainings, but not because it has answers. It's used because it shows how fast everything can go wrong, even when procedure is followed perfectly. Unit 47, Officer Daniel Mercer, 29, disappeared during a routine stop on April 12th. No supernatural activity, no strange lights, no mysterious vanishings. Just one man, a dash cam, and a driver who knew exactly what he was doing. Everything below is sourced from dash cam footage, body cam transcripts, and the crime scene log. 03:12 a.m. The stop. Mercer pulls over a dark blue cargo van for a broken tail light. The van immediately pulls onto the shoulder. Nothing suspicious. Routine stop. Good positioning. Clear line of sight. Dashcam shows the van's rear doors covered in stickers, band logos, decals, random scraps. Mercer radios dispatch. Unit 47, traffic stop. Plate 9T8, static. Repeat, 9T8. Copy 47, go ahead. The plate cuts out in static for the last 2 digits, but Mercer continues the stop anyway. He approaches the driver's side. Bodycam turns on automatically. The driver. The man behind the wheel looks mid-40s, calm, clean-shaven, wearing a reflective vest. Truck driver type. He's cooperative, almost too cooperative. Mercer says, "Good evening, sir. Broken tail light?" Driver. "Thanks, officer. Didn't notice. Long night." His voice is flat, normal, casual. Mercer asks for license and registration. The driver hands them over instantly. No fumbling, no hesitation. That's red flag number 1. People who've been driving 12 hours always hesitate. Small details. While Mercer runs the ID, his body cam catches something odd. Through the van's rear window, barely visible under stickers, there's movement. Not big, just a shift in shadow, human-sized. Mercer leans a little to get a better angle. The shadow freezes. 03:15 a.m. The inconsistency. Dispatch comes back. 47, return showing no record on that license. Mercer frowns. He repeats the spelling. Dispatch runs it again. Still no record. Mercer calmly walks back to the van. This time, his tone changes. Mercer, "Sir, can you step out for me?" Driver, "Is something wrong?" Mercer, "Just step out." The driver obeys immediately. Again, too quickly. He stands outside the van, hands loose, relaxed. But Mercer's camera catches something on the man's left arm. A thin line of fresh blood, trailing from his sleeve cuff to his wrist. Mercer asks, "You injured, sir?" The driver glances at the blood, then smiles slightly. "Ah, didn't notice." That's red flag number 2. People always notice when they're bleeding. 03:17 a.m. The back of the van. Mercer moves toward the rear doors. At this moment, the driver shifts his weight, subtle, like he's preparing for something. Bodycam picks it up. He glances toward the tree line, then toward the road, then back to Mercer, as if timing something. Mercer's hand hovers near his holster. He opens the first rear door. What the camera caught. For exactly 1 second, the body cam shows what's inside. A young woman, hands zip-tied, duct tape over her mouth, eyes swollen from crying. She is sitting upright, shaking uncontrollably. Then everything explodes at once. 03:17:22. The attack. The driver launches himself at Mercer with silent, explosive precision. Not clumsy, not frantic. Practiced. Mercer is slammed into the van door. The camera tilts. Grass, road, sky. The struggle lasts 8 seconds. 8. The driver gets behind Mercer, arm around his neck, knee in his spine. Mercer reaches for his radio, misses. The driver drags him backward toward the ditch. Body cam audio distorts with motion. We hear Mercer choking out, "Dispatch, 4-7, need..." Then a sharp sound. Not a shot, more like a choke, a pop of cartilage. Mercer's mic goes silent. 03:19 a.m. The van leaves. Dashcam shows the driver carrying Mercer's unconscious, or worse, body like dead weight. He loads the officer into the van next to the woman, closes the doors. The van sits for 5 full seconds. Then the brake lights flare. The van pulls away from the shoulder, calm and controlled, like nothing happened. Within 1 minute, it merges onto the service road and out of view. 03:26 a.m. The scene. 2 units arrive after dispatch loses Mercer's signal. They find Mercer's flashlight in the grass, his radio crushed, one of his gloves, fresh drag marks leading to the ditch, tire tracks matching the van. The kidnapped victim from the van is later found walking barefoot on the access road at dawn. She survives. She identifies the driver only as, "He told me he's done this before," and "He always takes the officer too." She gives a detail investigators still don't understand. He said, "He doesn't like witnesses in uniform." Officer Mercer has never been found. The van has never been found. The driver's fingerprints do not match any database. Last line in the case file. Written by the chief investigator. He waits for isolated officers making routine stops. He disables the plates. He picks rural highways. He makes sure they're alone. This wasn't his first time, and it won't be the last. Case type: unidentified person, attempted abduction, possible serial behavior. Location: Northridge Overpass, mile marker 214. Status: ongoing investigation. You don't see many pedestrians at 3:17 a.m. on a highway overpass, especially not a woman standing barefoot on the median staring down at traffic like she's studying each car. At first, officers thought it was a suicide attempt. But what happened that night has nothing to do with suicide and everything to do with how predators choose their victims. I was given access to this case during a backlog review assignment. I'm supposed to redact sensitive information, but something about this file still bothers me. It feels incomplete, wrong. Here's what the report says. Initial call, 3:11 a.m. A long-haul trucker named Martin Keller radioed in through emergency CB. Quote, "Northbound 214, woman on the overpass, not moving, barefoot, looks hurt." Unquote. Troopers Ruiz and Halley responded, arriving at 3:17 a.m. Dashcam footage begins with them stepping out of the cruiser. Their flashlights find her immediately. A woman, late 20s to early 30s, long black hair, white tank top stained with something dark, arms wrapped around herself like she's freezing. She's not crying, not shaking, not panicking, just staring down at the road, completely still. Trooper Hallie calls out, "Ma'am, step back from the edge. We're here to help you." She doesn't move. Ruiz approaches slowly from her left, keeping distance. That's when Hallie notices something. The woman's feet are dirty and bleeding, as if she walked a long distance without shoes. He radios dispatch, "Possible trauma victim, EMS required." Before he can finish, the woman finally speaks. Quiet, flat, almost rehearsed. "He's still out here." Ruiz asks who she means. She turns her head very slowly toward him. There is no fear on her face, just exhaustion. "He's watching me." The first red flag. When Ruiz gently takes her arm to move her off the median, she recoils, not from pain, but like she expects to be grabbed harder. Hallie notices something on her wrist. Deep red marks, oval-shaped bruising, both wrists. Classic restraint marks. He asked, "Did someone hurt you?" Her answer comes instantly. "He took me in a truck. He said if I ran, he'd come find me." Ruiz looks around the dark highway, scanning for vehicles. Highway cameras confirm no cars passed for 5 minutes before officers arrived. The woman keeps whispering, "He's here, he's here, he's here." Hallie tries reassuring her, "There's no one here but us." She looks up, directly into the dash cam and says, "He always parks where you can't see him. The ditch." EMS was 5 minutes out. Ruiz and Hallie begin escorting her toward the cruiser. That's when a semi passes overhead. The woman flinches so violently she drops to the pavement. Ruiz kneels beside her. It's okay, it's just a truck." But she grabs his wrist with surprising force. "Don't let him take me again." Ruiz swears, even now, that her eyes never looked at him. She kept scanning the dark field beside the overpass. Hallie shines his flashlight down the embankment. Grass, trees, no movement. But about 15 feet down the ditch, he sees something metallic catching the light. He climbs down and discovers a broken zip tie, 2 torn pieces of duct tape, a length of rope. He radios it in as evidence of possible unlawful restraint. Back at the road, the woman whispers. He stops on the shoulder, pretends the truck broke down. Hallie asks, "What does he drive?" She closes her eyes. White cab, no company name, the kind that doesn't get inspected. Case fragment, the attempted escape. Once loaded into the cruiser, the woman finally gives a short statement. This part is pulled directly from the audio. Woman: He said he picks girls who won't be missed. Ruiz: How did you escape? Woman: When he stopped to tighten the straps, I ran, until my feet bled. Ruiz: Which way did he go? Woman: He didn't go, he followed me. He likes the chase. Hallie: Why did you go to the overpass? She answers, He said if he ever lost me, he'd take the next girl he saw. I didn't want to be anywhere close to the road. Then she stares at the rear window. But he always finds a way. Moments later, she starts shaking uncontrollably. Not from fear, from cold, severe exposure. EMS arrives at 3:26 a.m. The woman is transported to St. Ridge Medical. Ruiz and Hallie remain behind to canvass the area. Bodycam timeline, 3:33 a.m. Ruiz returns to the ditch. His bodycam captures a new detail. Fresh tire tracks in the grass, large, consistent with a semi. But here's the part that unsettled every investigator. The tracks were not there during Hallie's initial sweep 7 minutes earlier. They appeared while the woman was being loaded into the ambulance. Which means a semi pulled over, waited, and left, without the officers noticing. Ruiz follows the tire marks for about 40 feet until they vanish into gravel. Hallie radios from the overpass. "Ruiz, look westbound." Body cam shows Ruiz turning. In the distance, far down the highway, a white semi with no logo is merging back into traffic. Hazards blinking, driver unseen. Ruiz sprints back to the cruiser, but the truck is too far ahead. No plate number, no DOT number, no identifiable markings. The truck disappears into the night. The disappearance of the victim. Here's the part that frustrates every officer who touched this case. The woman never gave her name. At the hospital, she refused to speak without an advocate, then fell asleep from exhaustion. A nurse reported she was dehydrated, bruised, and suffering from extreme fatigue. But by morning, she was gone. Not discharged, not released. Gone. Hospital cameras show her walking out barefoot at 6:17 a.m., wearing donated scrubs. She turns into a wooded area across the street. She is never seen again. Her blood did not match any database. Fingerprints came back no record. No missing persons matched her description. Final entry in the file. One note remains in the official case summary, handwritten by Trooper Hallie. Quote, "We didn't save her. She saved someone else, and I think he knew he would keep looking." Unquote. Underneath, scrawled in pencil, barely readable, "He wasn't chasing her that night. He was hunting in case she ran." Case type: unsolved criminal harassment, stalking, attempted abduction. Station 12, Rural Highway Patrol Outpost. Status: open investigation. It started as something small, the kind of case rookie officers get assigned to as experience. But by the time it ended, 2 officers transferred, 1 quit policing altogether, and the department quietly buried the file. I was working as a civilian transcriptionist for the county when I got access to the call logs. I didn't know then that I would become the last person to hear tape number 4 before the department pulled it from the record. Everything began with a series of after-hours phone calls made directly to Station 12's landline. The caller never spoke. He breathed, slowly, methodically, like he wanted them to hear it. At first, the officers thought it was a prank. The station was small, understaffed, forgotten by the county. People messed with them all the time. But the calls only came during one officer's shifts. Deputy Daniel Reyes, age 34. Quiet, professional, recently divorced, good cop. The first 4 calls came between 1:20 a.m. and 1:50 a.m. Always during Daniel's solo night shift, always the same pattern. 1 ring, a click, heavy breathing, then silence. After the 4th call, dispatch suggested logging it, but Daniel shrugged it off. He said it reminded him of a case he had handled months earlier, a domestic violence situation that went bad. A man named Carl Loomis had stalked his ex-wife relentlessly, following her to work, showing up outside her home, calling her repeatedly, breaking into her backyard twice. Daniel was the responding officer on every report, and Daniel was the one who finally arrested him after Loomis threatened her with a tire iron. Loomis got 6 months in county jail. He had been released exactly 9 days before the calls started. But Daniel never said Loomis's name out loud. He just kept insisting the calls were nothing. Incident number 1. The back door. Date: October 12. Time: 2:07 a.m. Daniel radioed dispatch with a simple message. Check the south exit camera for me? There was no panic in his voice, just a shift, like he suddenly wasn't alone. The officer monitoring cams flipped to the back entrance. The person was already in frame. A man, standing just beyond the camera's night vision range, perfectly still. He wasn't trying to get inside. He wasn't moving at all. He was just watching the building. When patrol units arrived 10 minutes later, the figure was gone. No footprints, no tire tracks, nothing. Daniel told the responding units, "It's just some drunk." But body cam audio caught something else. Something Daniel muttered under his breath when he thought no one could hear him. He found the station. Incident number 2. The printout. 3 days later, Daniel showed up to his shift early, around 11:45 p.m. He unlocked the front door to Station 12, stepped inside, and froze. On his desk, placed dead center, was a single sheet of paper. No envelope, no footprints, no sign of forced entry. Just a printed photo. A grainy, zoomed-in surveillance screenshot of Daniel walking to his car after shift 2 nights earlier. On the bottom were 4 words, typed, "I see you leave." Daniel filed no incident report. The only reason the county even knows about this printout is because the overnight custodian, an older man named Hughes, found the discarded page in the station's shred bin the next morning and turned it in. Incident number 3, tape number 4. On October 21st, the station received another call at 1:33 a.m. Unlike the earlier calls, this one was logged automatically because Daniel had stepped out to check the parking lot cameras. The recording labeled tape number 4 begins with dead silence. About 10 seconds in, a man whispers, "You're alone tonight." Another pause. Then, "Just like she was." Daniel froze when he heard the voicemail. He played it once, then again. Then he locked himself in the evidence room for nearly 30 minutes. When he came out, he told Supervising Officer Mayfield, "It's Loomis. I need a warrant." But they couldn't get one. There wasn't enough proof. A whisper on a voicemail wasn't admissible, especially for a man with no phone registered under his name anymore. That night, Daniel requested backup for the rest of his shift. He did something else too. He asked to access the body cam archive from the Loomis arrest 6 months earlier. He watched the footage twice. At one point, Loomis is pinned against the hood of a patrol car, growling through his gritted teeth, "When I get out, I'll make sure you remember me every night you close your eyes." This line never appeared in the official transcript. Someone cut it. Daniel didn't sleep for the next 48 hours. Incident number 4. The last call. October 25th, 1:41 a.m. This time, Daniel answered the phone on speaker. His voice sounded exhausted, frayed, defeated. "Daniel, what do you want from me?" Caller. Breathing. Daniel. Loomis, stop this. You're done. Caller, whispering. You should have left her alone. Then a click. 30 minutes later, Daniel walked outside during a routine patrol of the parking lot. Security footage shows him step out the door. Then, he suddenly turns sharply to his right, steps backwards, draws his weapon, and shouting something incomprehensible, he sprints off camera towards the tree line behind the station. He was found 3 minutes later by backup units, kneeling in the dirt, weapon lowered, breathing hard. Nobody else was there. No footprints except his. No sign of a struggle. He refused to explain what he saw. 2 days later, he submitted his resignation, moved states, changed his number. Aftermath. A week later, deputies found something taped to the back door of Station 12. A printed sheet of paper. A single sentence. There's no shift you can hide behind. DNA was inconclusive. Cameras caught nothing. Phone company records revealed no traceable calls. The case is still open. The caller was never identified. But the sheriff's department quietly installed bulletproof glass at Station 12 and moved all night shifts to 2-officer minimum. Not because of what they found, but because of what Daniel said during his exit interview. The same sentence he recorded in writing. He was there that night. He wanted me to follow him into the woods.